I had said that I think I want to be an actress. Like, I think I can do it too. Like, I feel really good doing this and it feels right.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not going to be an actress. And I was like, excuse me? Well, what do you mean? And he's like, that doesn't happen to people like you. That sentence.
Teacher.
I can totally see that.
Oh, 100%.
Right? When I first started college, I was going to school to be a teacher. But like being a teacher in Nevada, you're just not making any money. And I'm like, I might as well be doing something that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah. What would you teach? Would you teach a specific
history.
okay.
History.
History, of course.
Any
In high
particular? Thank you. That was my next
But
question.
I did like my student teaching, and it was like terrible because I look like one of the students.
I feel you.
You get harassed.
I feel you.
You get harassed.
Yeah, when I was coaching the swim team, I'd be like, you listen here.
Yeah.
Kid would be acting up during swim practice, and they'd be like, what are you going to do?
Okay, so if you weren't acting, what would you be doing?
Hating my life.
I'm like, what else is there?
No, if I was in acting,
Or at least, what were you doing before acting?
pursuing dentistry.
Really?
Really?
I didn't even know that.
Wait,
I don't tell a lot of people.
Elena's the dentist? Like, dentist Elena.
like not Olympic swimmer.
Well, it would be Dr.
dentist.
Ferranty. Yeah, no. I was all about bio. Yeah, I started majoring in, like, when I first started college, I majored in biology and was like, I'm going to be a dentist. Like, I'm going to really work that. Maybe even an orthodontist. Like,
What
play
changed?
set. Well, bio and chemistry really kicked my ass.
Chemistry.
I
Kicked my
loved
butt.
chemistry.
Chemistry totally
I
kicked
hated
my butt.
chemistry.
I did well in chemistry.
I did great in bio. I did
See,
terrible.
I sucked in bio, but
I did great in bio.
That happens all the time. It's it's one or the other. But yeah, I would still be pursuing dentistry.
Wow.
But here I am.
Okay, so chemistry kicked your butt, and then you were like, I should be an actor.
No. Then I was like, I should be a marriage and family counselor. I've gone many different
I
routes.
could also see that.
Me
Yeah.
too.
And I minored in French too, so it was good, and I graduated on time.
Okay.
And then I moved to New Orleans, and then got into film down there.
Okay.
So this was a very lengthy process. This was over years that I accepted the fact that I wanted to act and write and stuff.
Okay.
So,
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, in my former life, I was a marketing manager. That isn't actually what I wanted to do. So I probably would have ended up as a photographer if I didn't end up as an actor. Because I actually applied to a fine arts school, and they're like, okay, you gotta do da-da-da-da. And I was just like, I don't want to take out this much in loans.
That was another thing. Yeah,
It was a huge
it's a
thing.
lot of school.
6 figures of school loan debt was not what I wanted. And I kept thinking and kept thinking and kept digging into what I really wanted to do. And I came back to, I grew up singing, dancing, and acting in church. And I loved it. And that's what I really wanted to do. And along the way thought, like, oh, that's not a viable thing because of, you know, the ideas
It's funny,
I heard
no,
and
that
stuff.
thought always comes up.
Yeah, but then when I really dug down, I'm like, that's what I'm doing, and I quit my job and moved to LA.
You always have
like
that
a
moment.
maniac.
Don't tell my mom.
I'm driving there.
I was like, I give it up, and I like
Throw
gave up
everything
my
in your
job
car.
and like came out here. And
Wait,
it was
so what was
good.
that moment that like made you wanna like
Oh,
tell us?
I was bawling watching So You Think You Can Dance.
You were like, I can do that. I'm wasting my life.
But really, you all know me like actor therapy. So I was like an emotionally stunted person where I was like, I don't want to cry in front of anyone. Like, that'll make me feel weak and like all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And I realized...
I wish I had some kind of limits.
No, me too, seriously.
But yeah, I realized that I did not care that I was bawling over like the dances because it was so beautiful to me. And I was like, oh, I'm not trying to hide this. Like, I care so much. Yeah, I was just like, I'm just in it. And I chased that feeling. And so I keep having that feeling now. So
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cry at things.
I cry all the time. It's fantastic.
You don't cry every day. Are you an artist?
Right.
I cry.
So the reason why I got into acting is because in college, I randomly took an acting class. Well, like early college. It was like my first or second year. I took a acting class. The reason why I took it is because I moved from Japan, high school, to Chicago freshman year, and my parents, oh my god, I was so angry with them because they made me switch schools. So it was already hard enough, but mid-year freshman year, I moved to a new school, and it was the worst because, especially like coming from Japan and like growing up there, born there,
To Chicago.
the way you look,
Yeah.
the way I look, I stand out. Like, I don't have anything in common. Even just like the Asian kids, I had nothing in common with them. And so in college, I struggled so much with just socializing with people, talking to people, and just being open. I was like, you know, I'm going to take an acting class because I don't want to be shy. That's exactly what happened. And yeah, that's why I ended up taking an acting class.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be shy.
I didn't want to be shy.
I want to make some friends.
Which is crazy because when people talk to me now, they're just like, I would never, like, I don't think that way of you, like being shy.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't.
But I'm like, no, my past life before therapy.
Pre-therapy life.
Yes.
Pre-therapy life.
Pre-artist mess. So we met each other at a good time.
Yeah, could you imagine if we met each other pre-therapy?
Girl.
There'd be a lot more wine at this table.
PG.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
PG.
So have you been acting all your life? You have.
That's
See,
funny.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, it's funny because I just wrote all this down, and this is kind of like what my novel was about when I did National Novel Writing Month. Because I was not the kid that anyone thought was gonna be an actor. Like,
Interesting.
I was super nerdy. I was accelerated in all of the classes to the point where like I was a freshman, but I was in like not only the sophomore class, but like the advanced sophomore class.
Right.
So I had no friends in those classes. Like I had my friends, but like I just like stayed off to the side and like didn't talk to anybody and like got my grades. I remember somebody in high school, like somebody said something to them about me. And then my friend came back and I was never bullied, but their response was just like, oh yeah, Kara, she's just so nice. Like that, everybody just, I didn't have any enemies. I wasn't bullied.
Yeah.
I was just.
But no one called you on Friday and Saturday nights
I was
to
just
hang
nice.
out.
You're a wallflower.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I hit high school. I hit puberty.
Cute.
I went from like 4'8", 150 to like now.
Okay.
Hair got a little less frizzy, and all of a sudden, like.
So it was like a she's all that situation.
I got friends. And freshman year, my best friend in high school had signed up to do Fiddler on the Roof. And I missed auditions or something. I'd never auditioned for anything. I didn't sing. And I ended up being the stage crew. I was like, oh, I want to help. I'll be the stage crew.
Aw.
Okay.
And so I remember like moving the sets and stuff and like sitting backstage and like watching everybody get ready in their costumes and their makeup. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I told my guidance counselor, I want to go to college for theater. And she was like, okay.
She said okay?
Okay.
She's like, all right, we'll go through 2 monologues. She taught me 2 monologues, a dramatic and a comedic.
Okay.
And then I told my parents. And my mom said, fine, but you have to have a backup. So I auditioned at 6 schools. I got into 5 of them. and I had to have theater and English literature.
Perfect.
So I wish I had business. That would have been way better.
Yeah. See, were you shy?
Contacts. So I started wearing glasses very early. I was reading very early. Like from 4 to 10 was just me and a book.
Me too.
And then contacts happened, and I was like, "Hello, world." So then I was very tomboyish.
Okay.
From there on out, but people still didn't see me, like you said, they didn't see me as being outgoing or whatever, because my brother was way more charming and charismatic and all of that, and it was hilarious because I remember there was like a church play where I was playing this like really talkative, fast talking, and everyone was like, well, we knew Jackson, my brother, they were like, we knew Jackson had it in him, but we were not expecting.
Not ready for that. That's really cute.
Because I was like, in character, I could turn it on. Like, I loved it.
See, I was never, ever, ever shy.
I didn't think you were.
Yeah, I did not think that at all.
I wouldn't shut up. I never shut up, ever.
I feel like
That's
you're like the real life version of like Michelle Tanner from Full House.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh my
The
gosh,
third
I
Olsen
totally see
twin.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I wasn't expecting the response from my friends when I told them, and my family, when I told them that I wanted to be an actress, because I originally wanted to be an editor and then moved my way in front of the camera rather than behind. And I would tell my friends, I'd be like, I know this is going to be heavy, you guys, but like, I think I want to be an actress. And they're like,
Cool.
yeah, like that makes sense.
Obviously.
You're everywhere all the time, and you just don't shut up, and you're always using a British accent for some strange uncalled for reason. And like, yeah, go do it. Like, what are you doing here right now? Go. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, great. Well, then that's awesome.
It's like everyone else saw it and
Yeah.
didn't accept you.
Yeah, and like I've been very fortunate in that, and I recognize that too, because I've only had one person in my life tell me that I can't do it, or that like I'm not good enough, or it won't happen. And it was a guy that I went on a date with one time. I had said that I think I want to be an actress. Like I think I can do it too. I've been taking classes, and I think that like I feel really good doing this, and it feels right.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're not gonna be an actress," and I was like, "Excuse me." What do you mean? And he's like, that doesn't happen to people like you. That sentence. And I was like, people like me?
What does that mean?
But the thing is, I didn't even internalize it, because I knew he didn't know me anyway, but it was just, I was like, you obviously have some issues with yourself, because
I have you met me.
you obviously haven't met
You don't know people like me.
You haven't met people like me.
Oh my god, I just still can't believe he said that to you.
Yeah, but he's the only person in my life who has ever been like,
Wow.
maybe you, maybe not.
I think I've only ever had one person say, and then the response was like something about how like, yeah, but you're not commercial enough. Yeah, like, oh no, they told me I wasn't marketable enough.
Like as a human?
Yeah. Like I was fine. I was talented,
Okay.
but like you're not I wouldn't be like marketable for someone. I'm not
like,
a product.
But you need humans, right?
And this was,
Here I
You need a person.
Oh my god, an
Oh.
ex-boyfriend.
These ex-boyfriends,
ex.
man.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why.
May.
I feel like I don't think I've had anyone say it to my face, but I can always tell with people's energy when they
their
ask
reactions.
what I do or like what I'm trying to do. I can tell. I've had maybe one person, I think it was in college, I was just so nice, like, yes, I'm gonna move to LA and I'm gonna get an agent and this is how I'm gonna do it, and then they're just like, yeah, you give a BJ, and I'm just like,
What?
and my naive like 20-year-old self is just like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
What's that? What's that mean?
Yeah, so that's like I think the worst that I've heard it, but I can tell with people's energy when they talk to me, or even just like people that I know closely, that I think if anything, like especially my parents, they're very supportive. My family's very supportive.
Yeah,
But
that's a huge thing.
the thing is, I can tell when I come home you know, for the holidays, like, they're concerned, like, are you okay?
Yeah,
And I'm just like, can you please?
my mom always goes, she's like, do you have enough money? I'm like, why are we whispering? First of all, it's just us. Second of all, no, I never have enough money, but who knows if I would have enough money if I had a full-time job anyway.
What is enough money?
What to you, Mom, is enough money? Like, what amount could you Venmo me right now? Because
just send it over.
But it's always. But the thing is, you know where it's coming from, and it's out of concern, which is a form of support. Yeah.
It's coming from a good place.
With my family, it was just always that I knew that they missed me. Because even when I lived in New York, it was still like such a different world, and no one in my family left the town.
Really?
No one before me.
Oh my gosh.
None. My mother grew up in our town. My father grew up in our town. My grandparents grew up in our town. If somebody left, they left for a little while to like go to school and then like
come back.
Literally graduated a semester early to get married and come back. Like no one left. So when I left, and I left without a husband, I left.
How dare you?
Without a job.
Oh no!
I left just to.
And then after college, you didn't come
pursue
back.
my dreams, and I didn't come back.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, and I would get these like calls or like notes from my grandparents that were like, "Oh, when are you coming home?"
Oh,
and I'm like,
that's the question.
That gets your heart.
So it's like I'm coming home to visit, but like I'm never coming back.
That's true. Wait, horror stories like audition,
like on set or audition
or any horror stories.
Yeah, we need different categories. This is plenty of horror stories.
Yeah.
On set, auditions.
It could be just like the thing that like you think back and you just like cringe, like, oh my god. Wait, I can start it off.
Oh.
When I'll start it off. Okay. No, when it was like one of my first auditions, and it was like for this science thing, right? This science show on YouTube. And I'm playing like a 13 or 14-year-old. So I'm just like, yes, oh my god. Like, yes, we're gonna be doing this. And so, exactly. And they had this like contraption thing. Like, I didn't think that they were gonna have it. Like, I saw it in the notes, and David and I tried to do it ourselves, but we could not figure it out. And so I go to the audition. I go into the room, and it's there. And I'm just like, it's actually there.
Do you have to build it?
Yes. Like, you have to actually work the thing. And
because we're totally scientists.
Exactly.
What do you think this is?
Right. And I'm like, holy crap, because I tried to prepare for this. Right. But then they were like, forget the lines, just do it. And I was like, don't do that to me. Don't do that
lines. What'd you send me signs for?
Right.
Like, why? And so I literally, like, flung the thing, flung into the wall. Like, I didn't even know what to say because I was so shocked. And my face is just like tomato red. And I'm just like, okay, we'll give you a call.
We'll give you a call.
I walk out, and I'm not kidding. A week later, I get the call back.
Really?
I butchered that audition to the point that I came home and I like cried because I can't believe what's wrong with me. Like, how come when it comes to the actual audition, why do I freak out?
Yeah.
Especially in that, like, the stuff that they throw at you, you prepare for it, and to the point you think you're prepared, but you're not actually prepared.
You're not really prepared.
Exactly. No. And so the fact that I got a call back, I was just completely shocked. But it was probably one of the worst because I went home crying that night. Yeah.
Because it hurts.
It hurts because you think all this hard work, right? All this hard work that you put in.
Tried so hard.
I know. And then you go there and you're just like
crushed.
You crushed.
Not in a good way. The opposite crushed. You
Yeah.
crushed it, they crushed you.
I have a personal horror story. Like,
Okay.
it wouldn't be a horror story for any other person, but for me it was terrible.
Okay.
So this was an audition. Like, I swam from when I was 5 to through college, and so swimming is a huge part of my identity. And when I first moved to LA, it was maybe like 2 months in. There was a commercial on LA Casting, and there was a casting call for swimmers, and they said previous swimming experience required. And I was like, here,
You're like, I
shower a city because I could do all 4 plus the one where you do all of them combined. That's my event. So I walked in there. I brought a cap and goggles with me and a bathing suit, and I was like, let's go.
She brought her own pool.
Into the room. And so they asked me about my swim experience, and I told them, and then they had me do a part where they were like, okay, what's your, like, let's do a couple of different reaction shots. So, like, when you win the race, and so I did when I win the race, and when you lose the race. And I was like, oh, dang it. Like, when you lose the race. And they said, now swim for us. And I said, excuse me? We were in a room. We were in a room.
No!
And they said, swim for us.
You're in the bathing suit.
I'm in the bathing suit. I'm in the one piece. And my, they didn't make me put the cap on because they wanted to see my hair. But I had the goggles on. And I was like, you mean like... like in the air?
Oh my god.
And they said, yeah, in the air. Like, I was like
you're
a normal thing that they like I'm dumb for asking like where the pool is. But I was like, okay. So I like start like swimming in the air. I like switch strokes at one point. I breathe. And then I touch the wall and I'm done. And they're like, oh my, okay, thank you. And I was like, is that it? Okay. All right, cool. And just take my goggles off, grab my pants, and walk out of the room and didn't hear anything from them. And I was mortified. I was like, I failed at the one thing that I've succeeded at for most of my life.
Fair, you have not done that. For
yeah,
most of your
I was
life.
like,
you've not been
swim in the air.
Swimming.
No, but Elena, you coming up for
Swim
air,
for us.
like, those are good character choices.
I tried to be as authentic as possible. I wanted to put the cap on. They were like, no. And I was like, I wouldn't be swimming without a cap, but like, fine. The goggles on. Like, who's the real deal here?
Oh my gosh.
So it was a horror story just because I was like, they actually want me to swim.
Yes.
There's no water here.
No.
Right.
Okay, next horror story.
So one of them, I get into the room, and it's a commercial audition. So I'm now expecting weird things from commercial auditions because they've all been weird.
It's always weird.
But this one was like, okay, so they have all this stuff on a table, and they're like, knock everything off the table, but don't overdo it. Do it naturally. And I'm like, like this. So you're just like not trying to overdo it, but you're knocking things off. They're like, and then you're like, you got to pick it all up. So I'm like, so it's a lot of that happening. And I walked out and I was like, well, I'm not getting that one. I booked it.
Nice.
Oh my god.
I booked it. The one that really like hurt my feelings was I know, like I went into an office and I observe a 7-day Sabbath, so I can't do certain things between like sundown Friday and sundown Saturday. And my audition was like 2.5 hours before sunset, so I was good. Yeah. I sit there for an hour and 45 minutes waiting for the audition to go, and I'm like, what do I do? Do I tell my agent like I have to leave? Do I tell them I have to leave? I didn't walk in telling them to leave because there were 2.5 hours to go. And so then I finally like tell them like, oh, I have to go in like 45 minutes, you know, am I going in soon? And so they're like, oh, you should have told us. And I'm like, I didn't know. Like, I should tell you an hour and 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, right. It's a bit preposterous.
My call time was an hour and 45 minutes ago. I was here early. So they like rush me into the room, like they rush me in front of people, so they're all mad, and I'm like, okay, don't let it throw me off. Yes, and then I'm like flustered in the audition, and then at the end of the audition, like they're just like, fine, and they like send me out, and then they're like, call the person, like I auditioned with someone, and they called them back in, and they're just like, you just go, and I was like, I was like, oh. It's like my beliefs are conflicting with my career, and I can't do this with the thing, and like it was a moment, because that's always been, when I first got into it, I got mixed things. People were like, you'll never have a career if you observe the Sabbath. And then there are some people who like, it's not a big deal, just tell them up front. So I was always like, okay, I just tell people up front, like this is this is what I do, this is what I don't do. And yeah, that was like the experience where I was like, oh, that hurt. Like, so that one was
then
like.
you think about like sacrificing who you are. Like, what are you willing to do?
Well, because that's the thing. I'm like, well, I'm not sacrificing who I am. So is this career an option? But I've come to the conclusion that it's absolutely an option. I can do it. It's not a problem. That was just like a moment that anyone could have had, and it could have been about anything. It could have been about nudity, or it could have been about anything.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's the thing I don't do, and that's it. So that was that.
Tell
them. What was your horror story?
I'm trying to think of it.
Come on, I know you have some.
There are a lot of good ones. There are a lot of just weird ones. But the one that like
was the weird
stands out as like the weirdest was okay, so because I have a unique face, which I know, and my eyes are unique, like the whites of them are blue, people see it in my headshots. I get called for things that are like,
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, the whites of them are blue, so I get called for things that are like alien or ethereal and stuff sometimes. It used to happen a lot in New York. But so I got called for this, it was like a fallen angel.
That's really neat.
And I was really excited. It was a cool like art film. And I even wore this like sparkly skirt that I used to have, and I looked like, I had like a white tank top on and this silver sparkly dress, and
I can see it now.
I get into the room, and it's just one guy. It is one guy in like
red flag.
Oh no!
In like a tiny, and I can't remember if it was like an office or if it was like one of the really small rooms in one of the audition houses in New York. Like you can rent the smaller ones or the larger ones that also have like a piano and a mirror. So this was it was just a really small room. One dude, one like small. I believe he was Eastern European. He had an accent, and we sat across from the desk from each other, and he told me about the role, and I was like, okay, great, and I gave him my headshot, my resume and stuff, and he was like, okay, what I want you to do now, I want you, so what we're going to have lots of fancy camera angles, and I want you to pretend like you just fell from heaven. And I was like, what? He's like, and he gets up from around the desk and he comes over to me.
Tell
and
me
he's
he
like,
demonstrated.
No, he was like, I want you to lay down on the floor and the camera is going to come over you like this, like you just fell from heaven. So, I'm like 23, right? I don't know what I'm doing. First off, I don't know anything about film at all, because I went to school for theater.
Right.
Like you just
so I just went with it, and I was like, okay. So I lay down on the floor.
Yes.
I spread my skirt out so it looks nice for his fake camera. and I'm laying there, and he's literally like leaning over me, like, yes, okay, now open your eyes. And I'm like, and he walks me through like what to do, like, oh, look around you, the world is like, the world is in distress, and you have just fallen from the most beautiful place ever, and now you are in this terrible place, and now you're scared, and meanwhile there's no camera. The camera is this guy's finger, and I'm going with it. So I'm like sobbing because I'm a fallen angel whose wings have been ripped off.
Oh my gosh.
And I leave, and I think, sometimes you leave and you're like, I killed it, and sometimes you leave and you're like, what the I did not.
What just happened?
And sometimes you're just like, was that real?
Oh my god.
And then the second thing is like, I can't tell my mom about that one.
So many auditions I haven't told my mom about.
My mom would call and she'd be like, how's it going? Like this and that. And I was like, we're not going to tell mom about that one. Yeah. And I never heard from that man again.
I shudder to think who did hear from him. I feel bad for her.
I'm pretty sure that movie didn't get made.
No. Was it a movie?
I don't know. Anybody can rent those rooms.
Auditions are mostly so terrible.
I know, auditions are weird. It's a skill in itself. It's always gonna be weird. Just embrace it.
That actually, I'm inspired to ask a question. But like, what is the biggest lesson that you guys have learned so far through this whole process?
Trust.
Trusting yourself, or like trusting what?
Trusting that no matter what you need, the universe is going to give it to you as long as you pay attention and you're open and you listen.
Yeah.
Because there have been a lot of times in my life where I've been really close to losing everything and been terrified that I was going to fall flat on my face. And whether it was a relationship or a job or family or career or
everything at once.
Or everything at once, that if I, your initial, I think as human beings and especially as artists, we run away from the uncomfortable. We don't want to be uncomfortable ever, emotionally, physically. We're out of it. Get me out of it. Make it feel better somehow, fast. But if you just sit in the uncomfortable and trust that every single feeling, whether it's good or bad, is going to go away. It's not going to be like that forever. So whatever's going to happen is going to be okay. Like, I've lost jobs and then 3 hours later gotten a call for another one. Yeah. I've been told to leave apartments and the next day been like, oh, hey, you need a place? Like, it just happens. Just trust. That's my biggest lesson.
No.
What about you?
I think for me, it's believing in yourself. Because I think that goes a long way. Because it starts with you. It truly does. Because you can show people that you're a certain way and like, oh, I'm this and I'm that. But then like deep down inside when you go home, if you don't believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself, people can see right through that.
Yeah.
They can see right through that. And I feel like, especially like if I was talking to my younger self, I'd be like, hey, you need to wake up.
Yeah,
like,
wake up.
Like, don't think that way about yourself.
Yeah.
And then especially being who I am
kind
today.
to yourself,
Exactly. Like, it goes a long way. And it makes the biggest difference in your life. It truly does. When you believe in yourself.
The girl in the mirror.
Oh, do it.
It's the girl in the mirror.
It is the girl in the mirror. What about you?
My biggest lesson was that everyone's wired the way they're wired for a reason. Because I used to have a lot of issues with my wiring. Like, I was like, why am I this way?
Yeah, why?
Yeah. And my dad said something to me that was super helpful. Because I was having an issue at work, and I'm like, oh, if I was just this way, then it wouldn't be this way.
Yeah.
And he was like, the issue isn't the way you are, the issue is your environment. Because if you take your same skill set and your same traits and everything to a place that appreciates it, you'll thrive there.
Yeah.
And so the lesson like hit home in this journey and in acting, because even in not judging a character and going, they have a place in this world and a reason for why they're there.
Yeah.
And accepting like, I gotta give you what I got because I can't be anyone else. And I'm this way for a reason. There's something I can contribute to the world that no one else can. And like just accepting that and coming to that realization, it has made life better. Like even like you said, trusting yourself, and even my trusting God and like all that stuff. It's like, well, if I don't see a purpose for the way I am, or if I am pushing away what I am, then where's my faith in all of this? There's a reason I'm this way. And acting is a big part of that reason. And I know that like when I'm able to do something through a character, I'm like, I couldn't have done that if I wasn't me.
It's like a completely different platform.
What about you?
ELENA?
I think the biggest lesson I learned was that's not yours. Like if you, and like I always had like the shoulds in my mind, and like
I love
this
that.
is how this is supposed to go, and I should
Shouldn't
have
yourself
gotten that.
to death.
I'm a swimmer. Why didn't I book that? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not it's not yours. And like you got to move on to something else, and you got to let that go.
Moving forward.
Moving forward and letting things go has been a huge struggle for me. And only in the last year have I been able to conquer it a little bit, because I've been accepting things like that.
Yeah.
Like if I was supposed to have that, I'd have that. Exactly. But I don't have that because maybe there's something else. Yeah. And the idea in itself sounds simple, but I'm embracing it in a whole different way.
Sometimes it's hard telling yourself.
Like that was my part. Like how
was supposed to be mine.
Yeah, like how
I know.
How could I like how dare I even say that? Because then it's gonna go to someone else who felt that was for them, and that is theirs. Yeah. That's theirs. And I was at FedEx printing out headshots one weekend, and I ran into one of my favorite actresses on one of my favorite shows, Jane the Virgin. She plays the grandmother. Yeah, so oh my gosh. And I was printing out a headshot, and I don't usually do this, but I don't usually approach people when I recognize them, but she cut in front of me in line. And I mean, I was gonna let her, but the FedEx lady was like, she was actually next, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," and like stands behind me, and the woman was helping me or whatever, and I turned around and was just like, "I just want to let you know Jane the Virgin is like top notch, like one of the best written and executed shows, and you're a huge part of that, and I just appreciate you so much." And we just dove into this conversation. She totally gave me the time of day, and was just, and I like was coming to terms with that's not yours on my own, but she said those exact words to me, and she was telling me that she booked Jane the Virgin when she was about to retire, and she wasn't even going to go to the audition, and it was one of the most like enriching experiences of her life, and she can't imagine what would have happened without it. And it just rung so true in my that's not yours until it is.
Confirmation.
And confirmation.
I love it.
When it is yours, you're gonna know, and you're gonna feel it, and it's gonna be yours, and things will only get better from there.
Yeah.
That's what
I feel like all of these things like go together.
They do.
Yeah.
The trust, confidence, trusting your wiring, and moving forward.
Cheers! So then they were like, swim. I was like, what? And like, swim. I was like, okay. So let's start with butterfly, because like that's usually what I do. Back shows. You're supposed to like swish your hips around, and then I touched the wall and then went into rush.
We touched ELENA. The reason ELENA. Seriously.
Wait, but then I touched the wall, like went back to the flip, turned straight line, flutter.
This is amazing.
I adore this.
And then you're touched the wall.